if you're dealing with these big volumes of data, you have to really have a robust data architecture so that you're able to stream and process this data and gain insights as fast as possible. And it also needs to be flexible enough. So what happens is when people are developing these products, data comes as an aftermath, which ends becoming garbage in, garbage out. So at the point of doing your analysis, if the architecture is not really well done, you're likely to go back to designing the system so that you capture your data points. So, just creating a reliable data architecture for streaming and processing.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Data Talks with Loren. This is Asha where we talk about emerging trends in the data world to enable people to stay informed. Today, I'm so delighted to be joined by a lady who are in the same high school and the same class. And we found ourselves in the data world. She works in a big telecommunication firm here in Kenya, and she's very responsible for the processing of data in different departments. So I'm delighted to introduce her. We are going to discuss about some of the analytics that can be derived when you are working in a telecommunication industry. And you'll notice as the video spans out that some of these analytics, you can use them in a bank scenario, you can use them in other different scenarios. So I'm going to welcome her to introduce herself. Karibu.
Thanks, Loren, for having me, and happy to see you after such a long time. My name is Asha Makana Panyako. I'm a team lead for data analytics product development. I enjoy working with data, and I'm also very passionate about teaching kids how to code.
Right. So to start with, Asha, we have like the customer bit of data, right? So we can start with understanding the network traffic analysis bit.
Okay, so for network traffic analysis, when it comes to a telecommunication industry, you're looking at that as the core functionality of telcos, where they make sure that customers are connected. And for them to ensure like good service and making like reliable network connectivity, you have to look at what are we providing our customers with. So you have to ensure that you are looking at your network data to analyze at this point, are we providing a stable connection? So you look at cell site data to see how much revenue is this cell site generating. Are you looking at expanding that infrastructure? Are you looking at upping the speeds? And in general, you are investing in this all infrastructure. Are the customers giving you value for that?
Okay. So customer experience analysis, what sort of analytics or insights can people derive from this?
So after you've onboarded your customers, you've given them a reliable connection. So you need to make sure that you're maintaining your customers, you make your customers feel seen, heard and valued. And how will you arrive at that? You have to look at the data. Most of this data comes from customer interaction. So at this point, customers are interacting with you via chatbots, via IVR, via the USSD menus, the apps, websites, social media, get a lot of data from them. And then even the platforms that they interact with, look at queue management systems at the retail shop. So you have to dig in, look at what are they saying, do the analysis. Some of them are structured, some of them are unstructured, for you to be able to provide a positive customer experience.
Okay. I think we'll dive into the structured and unstructured bit at a later point when you're doing the practicals. But for now, you as a telecommunication industry, you want to look at now the products segmentation, right, for these customers. So how do you go about that?
Okay. So after I've provided you with a service, I also need to make sure that my business is performing well. So you're looking at increasing your business share, market share, and also making sure that you're able to determine whether you're making profit or not. So at that point is where you dive into the products. What products am I giving the customer and how is it performing? And also the financial aspect of it. How am I going to come up with the market trends? So for a telco industry, most of it is coming from call data records. So you have this data records, you have SMS records, voice. Right now we have M-Pesa, you have all the network traffic. So you process that data and start looking at what's the average revenue per user. You look at what's the gross ads, how many customers am I bringing in and how am I growing my business. So those are some of the insights we get from on a product perspective. And probably it's like 80% of the job to make sure that you're providing good products to the users.
Okay, and then moving to the last bit of customer, is the customer segmentation bit and what have you, because you need to know your customers, right? So let's dive into that.
So for customer segmentation, you have your business, you have so many products, have millions of customers on your network. You need to know that Loren is different from Asha.
Yeah.
And so for you to know that, you have to analyze that data and derive patterns.
Yes.
Like, what does Loren need? What does she like? And so at that point, we employ machine learning models to distinctively identify a customer so that I'm targeting you when it comes to products.
Yeah.
And when it comes to marketing, how am I going to reach you?
Okay, so moving to the campaign value of things, because now you know your customers, now you know who likes what, and you want to campaign and derive analytics that can help you to target this audience. So how do we go about the recommender engine of things?
So when it comes to customer value management system, so mostly I think the biggest engine there, the driver is the recommender engine.
Okay.
Relies mostly on the segmentation and your distinction of your customers.
Yes.
So you can imagine products like Tunukiwa.
Yes.
They're very personalized.
Yeah.
The offers that you're given are totally different from the offers maybe mom or dad is given.
True.
So at that, we are looking at creating engines that are able to analyze this complex data enough and give you offers in real time. Like, at this point, you need this. So am I able to come up with a proposition that will provide value to you and at the same time bring the company enough revenue to sustain the business?
Okay. And then with all this, credit scoring comes in at some point, right? So can we dive into that?
Yeah, credit scoring, an interesting space as well.
Yes.
Because you look at telcos are not just telcos providing connectivity alone.
Yes.
Like now they're diving into M-Pesa. There's a lot of finance going on there.
True.
And then they're becoming technology companies moving away from the normal GSM.
Yeah.
So I feel like telcos are supplementing a lot of banking and financial and credit scoring models in a way that, look at Kenya, most people are not banked. There's a good number that's still not banked, but they're still able to access credit like Mshwari. They're still able to access gas. People are now using gas on credit and solar and all that. So telcos play a very big role in making sure that you take care of these customers just based on how well do I know you, how many calls do you make, what's your value on the network, and they're able to rate you and value, create a scorecard for you.
Nice. So, Asha, how do you handle incidents with analytics for such a big company?
So, incident management, mostly we are looking at it in terms of how are we able to quickly recover from an IT incident? How are we able to ensure it's not going to cost the company a lot, and the aftermath, minimize the aftermath of an incident.
Yeah.
So for such instances, we rely heavily on event logs. So monitoring your capacity, making sure that the hardware is functioning well, and making sure that you can easily pick up things like billing errors or such.
Yes.
So when it comes to event management, heavily relies on event logs to make sure that you're reducing the aftermath and you're providing reliable services. You can proactively detect this is going to happen and respond as fast as possible.
Okay, you mentioned a good point on event logs. I just want to understand that bit. Is it on cloud or where do you do the event logs?
I think for the organization that I work with, it's both cloud and on-premise. So we use things like Elasticsearch, and there are things like Braintress, so there are diverse platforms, diverse systems to use. Yeah. But just making sure that you're able to stream in events as fast as possible and monitor and be proactive and respond as fast.
Okay. Yeah. Fraud detection, because wherever there's transactions, there's likelihood there's a bit of fraud that might be involved. So how do you deal with this or analyze this?
Okay, speaking of fraud in the telco industry, it's really costly because at the end of the day, you are the one who is mostly responsible to make sure that your customer is safe. Yeah. So at that, in Kenya, a space like Kenya, look at the SMS scams that we receive. So much SMS scams happening. Yes. And then also the SIM swap. People are swapping time, like you can be here and someone swaps your line.
Yeah.
So when it comes to detecting such kind of frauds, you have to do real-time analytics so that you're able to detect an anomaly in customer behavior. Loren can't just be making so many international calls randomly.
Yeah.
So you're able to pick up those stuff as early as possible and respond.
Good stuff. Let's dive into the aspects of challenges that you encounter when dealing with analytics with big data like this.
So some of the challenges top off on my mind is data architecture. Like if you're dealing with these big volumes of data, you have to really have a robust data architecture so that you're able to stream and process this data and gain insights as fast as possible. And it also needs to be flexible enough. So what happens is when people are developing these products, data comes as an aftermath, which ends becoming garbage in, garbage out.
Definitely.
So at the point of doing your analysis, if the architecture is not really well done, you're likely to go back to designing the system so that you capture your data points. So, just creating a reliable data architecture for streaming and processing.
Okay, and big data actually in itself is a challenge. Yeah. So as we conclude this episode, what are some of the emerging trends that people can take advantage of?
Of course, right now everyone is talking about AI. Everything is coming with artificial intelligence. So in the data space, I'm looking at it like we use a lot of tools for data analytics. So just making them intelligent enough so that we're also leveraging on the AI. I don't need to do a lot of work when I can automate some of the human interventions that I do. So just making our ETL tools, our analytics tools smart enough to detect problems, resolve, and give me a dashboard at just a click away.
Okay, good stuff. Do you have anything else to add? Because now we have understood the different types of analytics, we've understood the challenges that can be encountered, and then the emerging trends that you can take advantage of. Asha, do you have any parting shots that you want to share with us?
Okay, I think for my parting shot in response to data is, let's be data driven. Listen to what the data is telling you. Forget your bias. If you just get a keen eye on what the data is saying, then you're able to grow your businesses.
So thank you so much, Asha. And you're right, I agree with you that data cannot be biased. So I'm so grateful for us having this conversation. I believe that the audience has been able to learn about some of the analytics topics that can be delved in, whether in telecommunication industry, or you can carry some of these points in other different industries. You've also learned the challenges that affect people dealing with big data in telecom industry, and also the emerging trends that you can leverage when dealing with data. I hope you've been able to learn so much from this episode, and see you on the next. Bye.
For me, I see data as an enabler for innovation and product development. And there's so much you can learn about it. So if you want to gain more knowledge, follow Data Talks with Loren, like, subscribe, and share. She's doing an amazing job.